What's up, everybody? Welcome to Move the Sticks. DJ and Rhett with you today. Bucky will be back tomorrow. Rhett with your fancy microphone that looks like Rush Limbaugh gifted it to you in this will.
Boy.
How are you doing, bud?
I'm good, man. I'm waiting on your arrival here. We've got a Thursday night football together tonight.
Yeah, that's why we're going to be on a little crunch on this episode because I got to beat some traffic and get from San Diego to Los Angeles in time for TNF. Who's playing, by the way? Who do we got?
It's the Rams and Niners. Yeah, it's a pretty big one. Yeah.
Yep. That's a big one. Looking forward to seeing you and digging into that ball game. A little 2-hour pregame. We have half or just post?
We have pre and post, no half.
All right. Dinner's up to you. I'm going to leave that up to you to figure out what we're getting. Do not rely on the catered food. It is no bueno. It's not great.
So what are we doing here?
All right. Here's what we're doing. Let me tell you what we're doing. We're going to do Belichick. I want to get your thoughts on that. We haven't talked since this happened. I haven't even talked to Bucky about this, so I'm looking forward to getting his thoughts.
I know. Where's he at?
But so we've got the little Belichick talk. We've got the game of the week. Then we're going to do our rookie draft. Nabil's going to take over for Buck, see if he can help him out a little bit. Buck's, I'm closing the ground on you a little bit after last week, but Buck's still got some room to make up there. So you'll see when we get to that point. I'm closing in. But Belichick, just give me your first thought. Like this, did you think because my first thought was, he's using this to try and get some NFL team to commit to him, and then I'm like, well, he took it all the way, actually. So I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you were ever looking for a reason to believe that the NFL is, or that college football is essentially the NFL light, then this is it. Because this is 10 years ago, Bill Belichick never considers this, but now. I mean, he's basically just working with an NFL calendar and an NFL type of personnel acquisition setup. It's just on a lesser scale in terms of money, even though the money's getting pretty big in a lot of cases. This is it. He's got a salary cap. He's got the revenue share number. He's got the NIL number. He knows what he has to do. He's been one of the best at finding ways to get the most out of that, budget or salary cap over the course of his career in the NFL. Why would this be any different? Bringing Lombardi with him to be the GM, it makes sense now. As crazy as that sounds, but this makes sense to me.
There's a lot of different layers to it. Number one, I was struck by the fact that how many years did we? I shouldn't say we, but just a collective. And you were up there in that market, so you heard it. Yeah. Oh my gosh, the Patriots get a bye to the playoffs every year. They're in the freaking AFC East. It stinks. It's like, hey, where should we go in college? You want to go to the SEC or the Big Ten? No. ACC. Let's go get in the ACC and see what we can't do there. It's not a bad strategy.
You get an automatic bid.
Jump on into the tournament. The other thing was I was looking at it thinking, people are looking at how they're going to build their roster and what they're going to do, and I'm almost looking at it as he's going to try and rebuild a Stanford Harbaugh type roster. Whereas if you're trying to find an edge and everybody's competing for the same kids, what if you said we want to corner the market on the smart kids, but we can offer a little bit more in terms of environment, and obviously with the pedigree of the coaching staff and things like that of the other smart schools. If we're going to say Northwestern, Stanford, places like that, I could see him going for that type of a kid. Because one of his advantages as a coach is he's been able to identify and bring in players that can handle volume. They can handle volume on offense and on defense. There's a complexity to it. That's like the opposite of how college football has been the last, however many years, which is let's keep it simple. Let's get as many 5-star freak athletes as we can, especially on the defensive line, and let's just let those guys play free.
Yeah, and on the flip side, he's got the benefit of a track record to say, look, I mean, I take players, I put them in the best possible position to succeed, and we're going to find ways to maximize your ability, right? I mean, tell me what you can do, not what you can't do. And he's going to maximize the can do in a lot of these players. So, yeah, I think that would make a lot of sense. His son, Steve, has done a pretty good job there, rebuilding a team on the defensive side of the ball at Washington. And I think that the scheme has proven that it can work. I don't know that we've seen it, on a consistent basis at the collegiate level just yet, but I think, you go after those kids who can handle volume of scheme and volume of, layers to that coaching in a different game plan every week, right? And a different type of, game plan each and every week. And yeah, I think you could definitely be successful.
I have this image in my head, by the way, and we can move on because we got to cover a little bit of ground here. But do you remember the movie The Blind Side? And Michael Orr is out at practice, and they have Philip Fulmer. They have all those coaches all kind of lined up there. I don't know if Saban was in that or not. I know Eddie O was in it.
Yeah.
So they have all these coaches there watching practice, and so that I'm just imagining in my mind, like you're Johnny high schooler, and you look over and you see Kenny Dillingham, and then you see Dan Lanning, and then you see Bill Belichick. It's like, which one of these does not look like the others? I mean, you've got these young, vibrant, energetic coaches coming off, playoff seasons, and then you've got the guy, the winningest or the second winningest coach in NFL history, with eight Super Bowl rings. Like it's going to be fascinating to see how people respond to that. I have a sense that you're going to come into some of these homes and you're going to say, I coached Randy Moss, and a lot of these high school kids are going to go, who's Randy Moss? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
That's true. I'm telling you, dude, when you see it, I've seen it at the combine with some of these guys coming through. Like a lot of these guys aren't, as logged in, especially the further you get removed from it, from the NFL.
I guess I could see that. I could certainly understand that part of it as well. But you could also be like, oh, hey, do you guys remember Tom Brady? I mean, like, I think that you're going to have some carryover here. And the fact that Bill has been in the media and on a lot of the platforms that kids are engaging with these days, I think you're going to see a greater familiarity. And I mean, like, he tells you he can get you to the league, you're going to believe it.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a pretty big selling point here too.
Yeah. I also think in some ways, the NFL, what made it great is that you had the level playing field, right? Anybody can win. It's different than baseball and basketball. Like everybody has got equal chance there to win. But some of it is dependent on when and where you can find the quarterback. Like if you just happen to be picking at the top of the draft when there's no quarterbacks, and then when there are quarterbacks, you're just outside their reach, you can go a decade without being any good. Whereas in college football right now, you almost can make a case that it's never been more level than it is now. If you're not good year one, guess what? Half the country's going into the transfer portal. You can solve all your problems in 1 year.
That's why I'm saying
in some ways it's more level.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think this is going to be just fine. I think it's a great outside the box type of hire, but it's probably more inside the box than anybody really thinks with the way that the game is structured now.
Yeah, and I'm curious. With Mike Lombardi going there. He's a very smart dude who has been a general manager and knows how to properly allocate money. It's one thing if you have 10 million, and I'm just throwing out numbers. If you're a school that has 10 million to spend, and I have 7 million to spend, but I know how to properly spend the 7 million and identify the priorities versus you giving a guard $2 million a year.
Yeah.
That's the NFL. Like you've spent your whole life in understanding the value per position, and that's gonna be a huge asset for both of those guys.
Why do you think Curt Cignetti was so successful at Indiana this year? Like, it's not just because he was brash and talked about it. Like, they can his staff. His staff evaluated talent better than anybody in the conference this year. They found guys that were going to win in their scheme, and they did. And so if you can do that, you're going to win in college football.
No question, and a favorable schedule. But anyways, let's. I'm just messing with you. All right, it's time for the Game of the Week presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. This week, it's a big one. We've got the Bills at the Lions. The spread is -2.5 favored in the Lions. The over/under is 54.5. Rhett, you are our resident Lions watcher over the lean years, the bad years.
Yeah,
so I feel like now that they're good, I feel like I give you the right away here. Where do you want to go with this one?
I think if the Rams found a way to put up 40 points, the Lions are going to be in pretty good shape in this game. Now, sure, the Bills going to find a way to correct some things and try to tighten things up a little bit on the defensive side of the ball after their last outing, loss to LA. Yes, but the Lions are, arguably, maybe not even arguably, but they are a more talented offense than the Rams are. Especially when you look at the run game and the way that the different paths that they have to victory here. I feel like this, after seeing last week. Now, look, Josh Allen can put a team on his back and go, win a game, but
which he did last week.
Well, dang near did, right? But I think the Lions have too many ways to win this game.
Yeah, I was the only one. We have to do those picks for NFL.com. There's a bunch of us. I was the only one that picked Buffalo to win this game. And I look, I think it's a shootout, but I think we can focus on what's wrong with the Bills' defense. And I can also say this offense is completely locked in right now with what they did last week and the way they've been playing, that I don't need their defense to be good. I just need their defense to get one or two more stops.
Hold them to 35.
That's
not
it.
45. Yeah.
And I'm just going with like the luck of the luck factor here. Like maybe a ball ricochets, maybe you get a drop, maybe a ball pops up in the air. But it's just however you choose to look at it. It's what's wrong with the Bills defense or what's right with the Bills offense. I mean, I think we know exactly what we're going to get with the Lions. They've been a much more steady on both sides.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to look at it too. But I just find that there's going to be opportunities for Detroit in this game, offensively. And I mean, the way that Jared Goff, has been so efficient with the football, like they just don't miss, and with Sonic and Knuckles over there running the football, like it's just going to be, they can go any way they want. Like they can grind it out, pound you in the run game, or they can air it out all over the place. So I just feel like the path to victory is a lot wider for the Detroit Lions in this game.
Widen out this game a little bit and let's put it in postseason perspective. Who do you think has the greater chance of coming out of their conference between these two teams?
It's a good question. I might have to put that down in the production meeting notes here for
there you go.
NFL Network pregame tonight. I think as you look at it right now, the Lions have the better path to get. I mean, look, they've got the Eagles standing in their way, whereas the Bills always have the Chiefs standing in their way and have not gotten over that hump in the postseason yet. So at this point, I would say the Lions. What do you think?
I'm going to cheat because I'm going to say whoever wins this game has the greater path. If the Bills win this game, they're still at least alive for the number one overall seed. The Chiefs to stumble a couple times, but the Chiefs' schedule down the stretch is not easy. So at least they would still be alive. If the Bills lose this game, guarantees they go on the road. I think their roster stacks up well right this year with the Kansas City Chiefs. We've seen it. So to me,
roster for sure.
They could win that ball game. The Lions lose this game, and somehow that championship game now changes destinations from Detroit to Philly.
Maybe it's different. Yeah.
That changes it a little bit. I might lean more towards Philadelphia on that one. That's why what I'm getting at is this is not only the game of the week, this is a very big game in the landscape of both the AFC and the NFC. It's huge. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. You're going to go with the Lions. I'm going to stick with the Bills pick, but I do think it's a very close ball game. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code MTS. New customers can bet just $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. If your bet wins only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code MTS, the crown is yours. Let's take a quick break, Rhett. We'll come back. We'll do the rookie draft right after this. All right, the results from last week, as we look at it here, I got a 5-pointer. Bucky got 4, you got 3, Rhett, and that's saying something because Garendo, golly, your guy Garendo
got me.
He got you a boatload of points there. But then a weird week for Brock Bowers, so he doesn't get you any points, and then Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't get you any points. So Tyrone Tracy got me a second place. Adunze got me a first place. So that helped, and then Worthy got me a second place, and Bucky went with his namesake. Did not go well, and I feel bad about that because I told him to take Bucky
into that. Yeah,
I did egg him into that. It didn't work out.
The first 5 minutes.
He did get some points for Neighbors. He did get some points for BTJ. So today we're going to have Nabil step in for Buck. So Nabil will pick for Bucky. Bucky is picking third. Rhett, you are up first, and I'm going to follow you up here. It's all yours.
Yeah, I am going to go quarterback here, and I'm going to go Jaden Daniels.
Okay.
With the first pick.
I like that.
Yeah.
You know what's tricky about the other two quarterbacks is that you can say, well, Bo Nix is, he's been playing better. They're at home where he's been awesome against the Colts, which I like. But when the Bears, and you look at the matchup and go, gosh, the Vikings, that defense, don't love that, but they are becoming masterful of getting some garbage numbers
points.
And stats.
Yeah.
They have kind of got that going. But I'm gonna go quarterback here. I'm gonna go with Bo Nix.
Yeah, Yeah, that makes sense.
Nabil, what are you going with here for Buck? You want to just throw it in the chat? Who are you picking? He's going to go Brock Bowers. That's his first one. He gets to come back to back. What if Bucky ends up winning this week with Nabil calling the shots?
You might have to just bow out and just let Nabil take the reins.
Tap in. Neighbors. He's going to go with Malik Neighbors with his second pick. All right, I am up next. And again, we're saying no, it doesn't have to be a running back.
Yeah, and now we're going to get the now everyone's going to find out just what kind of intel you got on Ladd McConkey.
I know. I'm gonna wish. Well, here's the thing. It's not just Ladd McConkey. Like as we're recording this, who's throwing him the ball?
Herbert. Right.
That might be a bigger concern.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna go BTJ. I'm gonna go BTJ with this one.
Ooh, man. All right. So I got back-to-backers here, right?
Yeah.
What do we know about Bucky Irving? Like, are we coming back?
I have the latest on their injury report here.
Gives concerning Bucky Irving. Okay, we're gonna leave Bucky Irving out of the mix.
Sit that one out.
Yeah, I saw concerning in a headline. That's enough. That's enough for me on this one. Okay, man, this is tough. You got a good young wide receiver DB matchup in Arizona this week. Marvin Harrison maybe seeing Christian Gonzalez a little bit.
It's fun.
I don't know that I like that one after the way that Gonzalez or that Harrison treated me this past week. So, man, we're running again with no McConkey. I feel like we're running out of. Give me Garendo again. I'll go Garendo again. I mean,
all roads end with Garendo.
Yeah, there's just nothing. I mean, I just don't know that there's a better way to go about that right now. And then
Giants pass offense is a little tough. We're
going with Tommy DeVito this week.
Yeah.
Against
the Ravens.
Defense. Give me Tyrone Tracy too. I'm going to go 2 running backs. Yeah.
I'm going to go McConkey.
Okay. All right.
Hey, you got to roll the dice. Got to roll the dice a little bit
roll
there.
The dice somewhere. Yeah.
All right, Nabil. Who are you going with, Nabil? You are going Drake May, huh? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, makes sense. Over Caleb.
By the way, I did see a tweet the other day that was fantastic. That who would have thought that was the weirdest trade in history? Drake May for Bill Belichick. Is that a great tweet or what?
Wait, how about Kingsbury? Did you see Kingsbury's quote today
on
Belichick? Yeah, he was like, I'll believe it when I see it. I got to see him on the sidelines. I can't envision my man doing a home visit right now, is what he said. Literally, my man. Yeah.
Oh, that is too funny. But I mean, do you even do that really much anymore? It's just, here's the price. What's your number? Here's your number.
Yeah, like, does it matter that you go in and sit on their
couch?
And it's a great.
I mean, I'll say this with Bucky not being here. It's a great school. It's a great location. You know, there's a lot to sell there.
Like there.
I don't know if he's going to be the one doing the selling, but there's a lot to sell.
Yeah.
So that's, man, it's going to be fascinating. What's their schedule? Does App State play them next year? Hold on.
Let's see. UNC football schedule 25. Let's see what we got here.
We don't play them next year. That's unfortunate.
We got TCU at Charlotte, Richmond at UCF, at Cal, NC State. No App State, but that is a very 8 to 9 wins schedule, maybe 10. With the way that you're looking at this thing here, they've got Clemson, Duke's been better, Syracuse has been better. I mean, but I feel pretty good about that if I'm a Tar Heel fan.
Well, do we have Boston? Do they play Boston College? Do we get the?
We don't get the Bill O'Brien. No, we don't. We don't get it. Yeah,
looking forward to that. All right, I have to scoot. I got to get in the car and beat the traffic. Get up here and do a little TV with you. So we're gonna roll, but be on the lookout tomorrow. Bucky will be having a conversation with Adam Thielen. Great to hear from him about the job he's done for the Carolina Panthers this year, as they've been really competitive against some of the best teams, and learn a little bit about Bryce Young and his growth and development. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow. We appreciate you. We'll see you right here on Move the Sticks.